Feels good to record another one of these videos. It's been a while because we've been moving and renovating, getting this house ready. So I appreciate your patience as I've been 100% focused on that. But I am very excited about today's video because I really want to talk to you about what is it that your negative entity attachments are actually trying to teach you. There's always a lesson to everything in life, and understanding these lessons can really help us overcome the negative entity attachment, torture, and pain, but also expand you and make you a more amazing person here on this planet in this particular incarnation at this particular time. So let's get started. This is always the first question to ask yourself. What emotional burdens have you been carrying with you since your childhood? Every single time, there is always something, a childhood trauma, an abuse situation, something negative that happened to you as a child. And you have no choice really in the matter. You're always going to store those extreme experiences. You're going to store those extreme emotions in your emotional body and carry that with you throughout the rest of your life. By resolving some of those things, you start to release the latch that the entities have on you. And in many cases, the situations that the entities provide you will give you some clue as to the childhood traumas that need to be resolved. So for some people, they have a sexual abuse situation from their negative entities. In nearly every case, and the only cases where this is not true is probably from some sort of repressed memory. It is that you had some sort of sexual abuse as a child. In many cases, the negative entity will use the exact same trigger or the exact same situation or the exact same reminder as to what that was. What's that going to cause in you? Certainly an emotional experience. If you have PTSD from it, then it's going to trigger that PTSD. Remember that negative entity attachments are attaching to you because you vibrate at a similar frequency. So when they are attaching to you and attacking you, they really want you to stay at that lower vibrational frequency. So what are they going to do? They know what buttons to push, and they're going to keep you at that level so that you can continue to relive the experience or to relive the emotional experience that you have. At the end of this video, I'll give you some clues and some hints as to how to overcome those childhood emotional burdens. Another super common one is all you got to do is think about your current relationships, your romantic one, your family relationships, your work relationships. There may be something there, either someone that you need to forgive or someone that continues to abuse you or cause you to have some emotional response, some lower vibrational emotional response. What's a lower vibrational emotional response? Anger, frustration, disappointment, a feeling of unworthiness, any of those, any negative emotion. If there are people in your life that are causing those for you, then that can be another indicator as to why the negative entity is attached to you. It's attached to you to help you resolve those situations, right? Wait a minute. Negative entities are generally not considered positive things. That's why they're called negative. But in every case, we can look and say, hey, this negative entity has brought something positive into your life because you've resolved something as a result of it and your life is improved. So everybody who goes through my programs always looks back on their negative entity experiences and they can say, especially at the end of the program, they say, I understand now. I am grateful that I had that negative entity experience. Many of you who are watching right now can say the exact opposite. I am not grateful for my negative entity experience. I just want the darn things to go away. And I completely understand that. But as you go through the process, you discover so much more about what's going on that is not just, oh, some random entity has attached itself to you for no reason. There are always reasons, and there are always lessons, and there are always ways to look back and say, I get it, I'm grateful, and now I can move on. I can move on away from the negative entity experience. But not only that, I can expand and I can become a better, amazing being. And that I can say, it's because the negative entity brought me here. And when it comes to these relationships, you might discover that maybe you need to forgive someone. But maybe you're in a situation where you are constantly abused or you're constantly attacked, either at work or family or whatever. Or you've decided to write these people off. I am never talking to my mother again. I'm never talking to my sister again. This sort of thing creates all kinds of lower vibrational frequencies in yourself. So it isn't just forgiving them in many cases. It's figuring out tolerance and acceptance. It's understanding what lessons they're essentially trying to teach you. When I've worked with people in the past and they've said something like, I am being abused by my brother, or I'm being abused by my relationship, we have to look at it and say, okay, what's actually happening here? And how can we change the way that you look at the relationship? It's not about you changing the other person, because you really can't do that. You can, but you don't do it directly. You actually do it indirectly by changing yourself. And one of the things that you can always say is, these people that are harming me in some way, they are actually my greatest teachers. How can I overcome this? How can I rise above? How can I still be me, even with the barrage of attacks or the barrage of abuse that I might be receiving? When I stand strong and discover my true self, even in the midst of all that, then all kinds of possibilities open up, all kinds of positive results and expansion and so forth. So it's really important to not just say, okay, I just need to forgive that person. Okay, great, Xane, I'll go ahead and do that. And still nothing really happens. That's because it's deeper and there's way more to it than that. Maybe they're trying to teach you that you're playing the victim too much. Oh my gosh, I am struggling with negative entities. I can't do this and I can't do that. I can't go to work. I can't get a job. I can't do all of these things. Woe is me. I can't think straight. I can't be. I can't live. I don't know what to do anymore. And I'm stuck. I don't know. I'm done. I'm done with life, or whatever it is. Why is this happening to me? Why won't this go away? Why? These are all victim statements. Instead, to turn it around and say, hey, I brought this on myself somehow, in some way, even though that might be a very painful thing to say, like, no way, I didn't bring this on myself. I was just going about my business. It isn't necessarily about one particular thing that you did, but it might be about a mindset that you have, an emotional burden, as we talked about already. What is it that you can look at this and say, hey, this is actually something for me, not happening to me. It can help you step out of the victim mindset and help you step into the power place. I brought this on myself. I chose this before I was born. I am accepting of all of this. Okay, well, if I look at it that way, then I can be excited about what it is that I'm going to learn here. Why did I choose this for myself? What kind of amazing reason is it? What kind of possibilities are there? This makes a huge difference and just changes the mindset, and it changes your entire approach to handling negative entity attachments and really anything in your life. If you look at any situation, oh my gosh, why did my roof cave in? Why did I lose my job? Why did this happen to me? Oh, everything always happens wrong to me. That mindset, that approach will only perpetuate that experience. If you say, oh, my roof caved in, what was I supposed to learn from that? So being able to look at any situation and say, hey, what lessons can I get from this? How can I integrate this into my life? How can I make myself an amazing and better person because of that negative experience? As opposed to saying, why me? Gosh, why do I deserve this? It doesn't matter what I do. This kind of attitude, just like I said, perpetuates it. For some of you, you are actually addicted to a substance. You're addicted to alcohol, hard drugs, or even prescription drugs. So, of course, you have lowered your vibration so much through this addiction that the negative entities are there to torture you during that experience. Sometimes, of course, when we look at addiction, we have to go all the way back to childhood again. What is it that I'm afraid of? If it's alcohol, alcohol is a temporary relief of fear. So what is it that you're afraid of? Are you afraid of a childhood experience? Are you afraid of being fired? Are you afraid of the economy? Are you afraid of your family? Are you afraid of your relationship? There are so many different reasons why we drink, But it always comes back to fear, because that experience of the alcohol buzz, you lose judgment is one of the first things that you lose when you start to get drunk. Well, you're actually losing fear. So you decide, oh yeah, let's drive. That'll be great. I don't care. I'm not going to get hurt. I'm awesome. That is, you've removed the fear of getting into an accident, because alcohol is very good at removing fear. So if you feel this temporary relief while you're in this alcohol experience, then it's showing you that you are not wanting to face the fear of whatever it is that you're experiencing in your life. In those situations, negative entity attachments are going to be there, and they're going to continue to torture you, because drinking and all those other drug addictions are always going to lower your vibration. So if you're able to overcome those addictions, then you can say, oh, thank you, negative entity attachment, because you've led me to the place where I finally decided, you know what, enough is enough. I'm going to have to overcome this addiction, and I'm going to put all my effort into it and all my focus into it so that I do. Then once again, we can look back on the situation and say, hey, it was the negative entity attachment that I didn't want that led me to take a better choice in life. And now I'm a so much better person. I'm so much happier with who I am. Another thing that negative entity attachments are often trying to teach you is to be more grateful, to have more gratitude. Because when you're in frustration or disappointment or anger or fear, all those lower vibrational emotions, that means that you are a vibrational match for the negative entities. If you spend time every day doing a gratitude practice, 6 to 12 things that you're grateful for every single day, you set it down, you make it on a list, you put it in a notebook, you type it up on your phone every single day, you will find that your vibration starts to raise, and it makes it less and less easy for a negative entity attachment to be attached to you. The other one too is discovering your life's purpose. Imagine that before you were born, you decided, hey, these are the things that I want to do with this life. I've got a few choices here, but definitely in this general category. This is what I'm here to do. And you find yourself just going down a normal life situation. Maybe you had decided that you wanted to help the world, or help your family, or help your community. But instead, you're finding yourself worrying about having a job, and worrying about having enough money to pay for your house, or the types of things that happen here on this 3D planet. And you aren't getting to those major things that you came here to do. Then that can actually incite a negative entity attachment situation, because you aren't fulfilling your purpose. So by discovering what that is and then getting on that path, we can say, oh, okay, this is helpful, and now the negative entity situation is either completely reduced or completely eliminated, because now I'm on my path and purpose. All of these things that I've talked about are all possibilities for what you're experiencing right now. There are probably many more, and we discover them every week and every time I work with a new person, what those things are. And this is why I do a class and I do one-on-one mentorship, because through that process we can dive deep and understand so much more about what's going on. And we can watch as people say that they're suffering on a scale of 9 or 10, on a scale of 1 to 10. In 7 weeks, drop all the way down to a 1 or 2, because we discover these things, they do the practices, they use the tools and the techniques, and they change their lives. This eliminates negative entities, or at least reduces them so that you can barely even tell that they're there. And now you can move on with your life's purpose. You can resolve those relationship issues, you can release those childhood traumas, and your life will be expanded and improved beyond what you can possibly imagine. In the beginning of the video, I talked a little bit about emotional burdens and carrying those with you. I have a number of downloadable activations that you can get from my website that will help begin this process. So I highly recommend that you go there. And one of the ones that you can get right now is a nervousness relief activation. There's one for every emotion, but the nervousness one I have for free. So all you have to do is click on the link below to download that and try it out and see how it does for you. I highly recommend that you do it while you're feeling the feeling of nervousness. Don't do it when you're totally relaxed because it won't work as well. It'll still do something, but if you do it while you're feeling that feeling of nervousness, wow, what a difference it'll make. And each time you do it, you are retraining your emotional body to tune in to a different frequency of nervousness, one that's not so painful or difficult or distracting, because the nervousness of the chest vibration or the stomach butterflies or the brain having fog and having trouble remembering what it is you're supposed to do or say, all of that will be eliminated, and you'll be able to look at your nervousness and go, oh, okay, this is why I was experiencing this. Well, I don't really need to anymore. And it's amazing because the combination of the energy healing and the realizations make a huge difference for the rest of your life. So thank you so much for watching this video. It's been a pleasure to do it, and it's great to be back, and I will resume releasing a video every week. I'll also resume the Monday meditations, which I took a break from. So again, I appreciate your patience, and I'm excited about all I can bring to help you in your life, in your negative entity situation, or whatever it might be. Please leave a comment and let me know what it is that you'd like for me to talk about, as I've been doing this now for over a year, and every once in a while I scratch my head and go, what's my content going to be this week? So you can help me out. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to make a video to answer them. So thank you again. I love you unconditionally, and I'll see you in the next video.